Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Mr. Magoo. This is actually a Disney film. Yesterday I said I thought it might have been brought over from 20th Century Fox. No, it actually has the Disney Castle logo at the beginning. This is from 1997, by the way. 1997, it's an hour and 27 minutes long, and yeah, it's a movie. It stars Leslie Nielsen, Jennifer Garner, Kelly Lynch, uh, Ernie Hudson, Stephen Tobolowsky, which we saw yesterday in what was the movie we saw? The Country Bears. He played the dad in that one, and here he plays an FBI agent with Ernie Hudson's CIA agent, and they're working together, but at the same time they're fighting against each other for the claim to fame of capturing the person who stole this gem, big ruby kind of thing. It's all a very convoluted plot wrapped around a ton of sight gags. Yes, I realize what I just said. Sight gags. Mr. Magoo is can't see very well. He is mostly blind. He's short-sighted or whatever you want to call it. He's visually impaired, and if you don't know the shtick from the cartoon for many years, he he's just a guy. He's a millionaire or billionaire or whatever he is, and he gets himself in all sorts of trouble without ever knowing he was in trouble because he just walks into everything and walks out of everything without ever being harmed. He has a dog, English bulldog, that helps clear a path for him sometimes, is smarter than him, and, helps make sure he stays alive. Um, he has a nephew named Waldo, and he's played by, what's his name? Matt Kiesler. He seems familiar, but I don't know him from, I don't know where I know him from. I could have checked that out, but there's so many other names in this that I do recognize, like Jennifer Garner plays a foreign dignitary, but she looks like she just stepped out of a background character scene for Saved by the Bell. It's seriously, at least in the last shot she's in, she looks like she stole Kelly's wardrobe. It's kind of funny. I have to also mention Malcolm McDowell plays a villain. There's a number of villains in this, number of levels of villains in this for some reason. Miguel Ferrer plays a big villain in this as well, but only in like the last third of the film. Kelly Lynch is actually the big main baddie that Mr. Magoo goes up against in one form or another. She seems to be doing a lot of her own fighting and stunts in this. I mean, unless they're really good at editing, which they may be, but there's some stuff in this that it's all her. Like, she's doing the kicks and the punches and the twirls and everything else. She's like some sort of blonde, skinny ninja in this. So she's kind of fun to watch. But yeah, this is all just based on the same premise of Magoo unknowingly getting himself into trouble. And it's at one point he's tricked into working with the bad guys, but he thinks he's working with the good guys, and then he plays a reclusive mobster that has to it's just too much. It's really too much for such a simple concept. And I love Leslie Nielsen, Naked Gun, Police Squad, all that stuff. He's Airplane. I mean, he's just awesome, and this is just, it's really goofy. By the way, one of the things you have to realize, Disney slapped it's one of the few films. There's a number of films on here, but it's the kind of films that get a special notification at the very beginning that say, "Hey, this is insensitive to certain. It depicts certain cultures or certain races in a less than awesome manner." So it gets that 15-20 second warning at the beginning to say, hey, uh, this probably isn't going to age well, but we've left it in there because to take it out, it would actually take out a chunk of the movie. And we can't edit it without just literally blowing up a huge part of the movie. So it has you wondering the entire time when that moment's going to come, or if it's going to happen multiple times. In this case, it's unfortunately with Stephen Tobolowsky's character as the FBI agent going undercover because because the government thinks that Magoo is involved in the jewel heist, and he has to sneak into Magoo's home. I guess he felt that the people who made the film felt that he had to dress up as an Indian food delivery guy and go brown face. It's not so recognizable that it just could be, stage makeup, that, he's a guy who maybe it's just bad makeup for the movie. But no. You notice that he's much darker the moment his hat gets taken off and he has this white bald head like mine, but everything down here is a fairly good shade of brown. So yeah, there's brown face in this movie. Yay. It's just really weird. And at the very end of the film, which is actually part of the original film, they say, hey, this is not a realistic depiction of people who are blind, and everyone deserves an opportunity to, no matter what they're dealing with, especially if you're blind or have vision problems, you deserve equal opportunities and everything else. Basically, the movie now has an apology at the beginning and an apology at the end for being the movie in the middle. And, oof, yeah, it's got its moments, I guess, and it's got a great bunch of people in the movie, but this movie shouldn't have been made. This movie didn't need to be made, and honestly, I don't want to see the movie that's made that, like, oh, you know what? We've let the Mr. Magoo rights lapse. Let's try to make a Magoo movie real quick to keep it. And, you could see they would make another movie, but it would be so politically correct in the ways that, well, good, they take away the brown face, but they'd also do something with his vision. They'd explain it. They'd do whatever. I think they'd overcorrect and make an even worse movie. So if that was possible. So yeah, this is not a great movie at all that I can recommend. It's weird that it's kind of got this. Again, it's a cartoon with very, it's meant for kids, I guess. Kids who never remember seeing a cartoon, basically. The only people who are watching this in 1997 would have been people who are the parents of the kids who've never seen Mr. Magoo or know what he is. I know who Mr. Magoo is. I grew up with Mr. Magoo. But seriously. By the way, this is not all live action. The very beginning and the very end feature an animated Mr. Magoo to give you somehow, like, again, if you're one of these little kids that have been dragged to this movie by your parents in 1997 or watching it on Disney Plus for whatever reason beyond, wanting to follow me and do what I do because you want to be just like me, it gives you the concept in the animated form. Like, oh, see, there's a cartoon. He just doesn't know what's going on. And now we just segue into live action, and now it's Leslie Nielsen being goofy and can't see things and talking to statues and using a giant scissors to cut a ribbon at the museum and accidentally hitting cables that for some reason then make a camera fall over from a balcony. It just it's a lot. I'm sorry. It's just silly. It's silly, but not in a good, redeeming way. It's exhausting because everybody has to, because you're just watching this guy, and like the old Mr. Magoo cartoons were short. And yes, this is only an hour and 27 minutes long, but it's this, you're just like, no, no, no. And you have to keep reminding yourself the man is practically blind. And yet, people in his family, like his nephew Waldo, allow him to drive. Yes, he's a millionaire. He's probably going to leave you everything. Not that Waldo even thinks of that kind of thing, but you gotta let him drive? No, no, no. So you put corrective lenses on his windshield? No. This man should be dead a million times over, and that's the joke, but come on. It's for a cartoon, yes, that's silly and it's fun. For a live action film that's based on the cartoon, it's just exhausting. It's tiresome. The joke is beaten to death. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm not really recommending Mr. Magoo. It's, if you're curious as to the badness, then watch it, but you're not missing much. You might regret it if you do. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
170.
All right, 170. My chest had you open a moment ago. Why did you close? Oh, okay. Hey, we're not doing a movie. We're getting back into the documentary game. But this might be interesting. Yeah. Let's get some high-angled views. Get a different perspective on Europe with Europe from Above. Now, Europe from the above, there's an above series of things. They do that with all the different continents or countries and things like that. So this is one of many. But this is our first, I think. I don't think we've done From Above with any others, but I've seen others in the list. So Europe from Above on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow.